everyone. Dr. Haifa Al Khalifa, the Dean of the College of Engineering, our distinguished speakers, our beloved colleagues, faculty, engineering students, members of Bahrain Intellectual Property Society, and honored guests. It is our great pleasure from the College Events Committee to welcome you all to this event titled Introduction to Intellectual Property in Design and Engineering. We would like to start this event with our Dean, Dr. Sheikha Haifa Al Khalifa, to give a welcoming speech in this occasion. Dr. Haifa, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nihal. Dear guests, colleagues, students, good morning. The College of Engineering aims to pioneer innovation and design application through its different departments. Today, intellectual property protection is absolutely critical for protecting the college faculty and the student project design processes and inventions. Engineers are often on the front line of innovation. As the best engineering governmental college, our students and faculty should understand the details of their project design, materials, products, and processes, which can be highly confidential work and can be protected with IP. According to the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, intellectual property refers to creation of the mind, inventions, artistic work, symbols, names, images, and design used in commerce. We have seen through the senior project exhibition and the rich history of the college many excellent examples. IP is divided in two categories: industrial property, which includes invention, patent, trademarks, industrial design, and geographic indications of source, and copyright that can be include artistic work such as drawing, painting, photographs, and sculptures. Also, architectural design or other industrial design examples from, for example, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Electrical, Electronic, and so on. We believe that engineers can be trained through this seminar to understand the legal side of their inventions, innovations. Also, engineers of the future should be professional inventors who work in the realm of industrial property and are often the first involved in creating a design or invention that should be appreciated and documented through Bahrain Innovation Center. We will hear more of today to take a closer step into practicing IP and mastering innovation. This event, with its respected speaker and consultant, is meant to add value to you, our future engineer, but it also thrives to push the wheel of economic development and research-oriented project with the proper IP grounds to build a bright Bahrain of tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Haifa, for your inspiring words. We will just have a highlight of the agenda for today. We will start with Dr. Hanan Al-Mawla with an introduction to IP and engineering, moving to Sheikh Amnira, who's thankfully with us today, to tell us more about Bahrain Knowledge Transfer Center and Policy. And then we will be joined by Dr. Abdul Qadir Warasma, a consultant in Bahrain and a member of Bahrain Intellectual Property Society. And then we will open the floor for question and answer. Just a gentle reminder, please switch off your mics during the event, and you may use the chat box to add any questions that you wish to ask the speakers, who would be inshallah here with us to answer all your questions and concerns towards the very end of the event. Thank you all, and I'll start now handling the mic to Dr. Hanan Mawla, who is currently holding the position of Assistant Professor of Intellectual Property IP Law, with over 8 years of experience teaching IP Law, Rules of Obligation and Contract Law in the University of Bahrain. Dr. Hanan is also a researcher in legal topics related to civil law, IP law, with particular focus on IP law and technology, in addition to comparative studies concerning the legal framework of IP laws in GCC states. Recognized also as an IP expert in the national level, Dr. Hanan, the floor is yours to share your screen and start your presentation. 15 to 20 minutes max. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nihal, and thank you, Dr. Haifa, for the introduction. Pleasure to be here. I'll start sharing my screen. Okay. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, it is clear. If you can just put it on full screen. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you may start.
So let's start. First of all, thank you for having me again. Our topic today is about College of Engineering and Intellectual Property Rights. So our goal will be to introduce the audience to the concept of intellectual property rights, to identify intellectual property rights in relation to the College of Engineering, and to answer the questions regarding what is protected and how, and tips to students as creators. Usually we try to cover all of these concepts within the academic semester, which is between 2 to 3 months. So I'll try to do that in 15 to 20 minutes. Inshallah, I'll try to cover as much as possible. And the rest of it, we can have it as questions at the end of the session. So the concept of intellectual property is, as Dr. Haifa probably said in the beginning, IP refers to the creation of the mind. So it is a reward for creativity and novelty. It protects literary and artistic work through copyright, industrial innovations through patents, utility models, and industrial designs, symbols, words, and signs through trademark. Just a few examples of work that is protected through copyright would include artistic work, literary work, computer programs that would be protected through copyright. Trademark would protect symbols and words, as everyone knows. These are examples of trademarks. And patents would, or industrial innovations would be protected through patents and utility models and industrial designs. Now, what are the related laws that everyone should know? First of all, we don't have a code in Bahrain that is titled IP code as such. However, protection is provided through a number of laws. So if you want to protect copyright or copyrighted work, then you will have to look at law number 22 of 2006 regarding the protection of authors' rights. Patents are protected through a different law as well, that is for patents and utility models. Industrial designs are protected through a separate law, and trademarks as well. Now, the authorities in Bahrain that are involved with the protection include, if you are looking for protection regarding copyright and answering questions regarding copyright, then you will have to refer to the Information Affairs Authority. And if you are looking for protection for your industrial property, then you will have to refer to the Ministry of Industry and Commerce and Tourism. Let's get started with the College of Engineering and Intellectual Property Rights. So first of all, let's lay out some ground rules. Legal protection is provided as a reward for creativity. So intellectual property laws, they do not, the laws itself, there is no definition of creativity. So it is left for the judge to decide what is creative and what is not. However, that does not mean that the law does not provide any guidance as to what constitutes creativity. Another important rule is that the concept and the scope of creativity as a threshold or a requirement is different from copyright than the concept itself in patent. So, meaning, if we are looking at copyright, then creativity would be understood as originality, and originality can be simply explained as the intellectual process that takes the form of work reflecting the author's personality. Think of novels, think of literature, artwork, it all reflects the author's personality. If we talk about patents, then creativity is all about novelty. That is a more restricted concept, and it can be simply understood as coming up with industrial solutions to problems that no one has ever thought about. So it is unprecedented. Let's talk about intellectual work in the College of Engineering. First of all, as faculty members and students may produce the following. You may have come up with a scientific paper that is in the form of a journal article, books, research, so that can all be protected under copyright. If you come up with an invention, regardless of the type of engineering involved, chemical, mechanical, electrical, that can be protected under patents law, provided that the requirements of patentability are met. novelty, inventive step, and industrial application. If you're doing sketches, drawings, 3D models, architectural designs, then that would also be under copyright. And if you are into the interior design concept where that involves, designing furniture, then we are talking about industrial design as a separate set of rules. So if you belong to the College of Engineering, it's not only about inventions and patents. It could actually cover all the other aspects of intellectual property. So what is a protected and how? If you've written a paper as a journal article, a book, a research, then we're talking about copyright. Copyright arises automatically upon the creation of the work. The requirement of originality, as explained, has to be met, but the creator is the author himself. As a general rule, if you are the author, then you enjoy certain rights that I will explain briefly in a bit. And the law does not require you to register your work. This is a major difference between copyright and patents and trademarks and industrial designs. So copyright does not require registration. You will have to prove it, obviously, if there is a dispute in the future, but that is a different question. Now, if you are the author, then you enjoy moral rights and you enjoy pecuniary rights. Simply put, moral rights are rights that cannot be transferred. These are perpetual and inalienable. That is the right for you to decide to publish or not, to be attributed as the author, to object to amendments, and to withdraw the work. Pecuniary rights is the right to have your work exploited commercially, to make money out of it. Selling, copying, assignment, licensing, this is all under pecuniary rights. And these rights, the protection for this part of the right is for the author's lifetime plus 70 years after his death. Exceptions do apply because sometimes you have work that is created by more than one author and other details, but we're not going to dig into that now. Now, if we talk about inventions and patents, it's unlike copyright. Patents require registration. So if you are not registered, if you don't have a registered patent certificate, then you can't really claim rights under patent law. So inventions can only be patented if the requirements are met. The requirements are novelty, which means that no one has ever registered a patent for this invention, and the invention has never been disclosed to the public prior to the filing process. The second requirement is inventive step, and that is non-obviousness, which means that a person skilled in the field of the invention does not find the invention to be obvious. Of course, this is not something to be decided by the judge or by the lawyer, but rather by the skilled person in the field of the industry. The industrial applicability is the invention. It means that the invention can be used in the industry and is not theoretical. So that means that there is an industrial part to it, or industrial aspect to it. Protection for patents would be for 20 years from the date of the patent application. Dr. Nehal, all is okay regarding sound and everything?
Yes, everything is perfect.
Okay, great. So designing and function, if you're designing a functional and aesthetically appealing or a standout product, then we're talking about industrial drawings and design. These are similar to patents when it comes to the requirement, because this would include the three-dimensional features such as the shape of an article, two-dimensional features such as a pattern, line, and color. Patent inventions, the difference, how to differentiate between design, industrial design, and patents. Patents tend to find solutions for industrial problems. However, the industrial drawings and designs, they're more into aesthetic features of the industrial product. So the requirement to register an industrial design would be similar to the patent, but in a very, I would say, lighter or less restricted scope. The design has to be novel and non-disclosed before. It has to have an industrial application, and it has to have a special appearance or feature when it comes to the industry. Now, examples of industrial drawings, of course, you know better than you would know better than that, but I would just listed some of the few examples that would include car design, jewelry design, and the protection for industrial design is for 10 years. That is subject to renewal for another 5, so that would be a total of 15. Moving to the last part of it, which is students as creators, what you should know. So first of all, when students are creators and inventors, there is a general rule in law. if you create something, then you are the owner. That's the general rule. However, some exceptions apply. So if you belong to an academic institution as a faculty member, or if you're studying in the University of Bahrain, then the institution itself plays a major role when it comes to providing you with the needed material, expertise, supervision, and so on. So yes, the law says that you are the creator. However, some exceptions may apply, and some certain rules might be actually applicable to find this needed balance between what should be given to you as a creator and what should be given to the other party that provided you with the needed assistance. In that regard, the law itself does not regulate this particular aspect. So if you look into all the IP laws, they regulate the relationship between the employer and the employee. So that would be the academic institution and the faculty members, yes, but that does not include students. Therefore, you have to refer to something else, to other special provisions. And these special provisions are normally found in the IP policy. So in any university, or in any academic institution or research institution, there is an IP policy that decides who owns what and when. When it comes to the academic institutions, the question is, who owns the rights, and how can students protect their work as well, or protect their rights? As a general rule, I would say academic institutions, the IP policies in overall universities would take one of the two forms. In copyright, you would either be the sole creator, or you will be having partnership with the academic institution regarding the money side, or the exploitation right, or the commercial side of the work itself. So if you've written a book, then upon the request of the University of Bahrain, then yes, the university would own the copyright in the book in terms of the money involved. However, the author's right will always be the author's own property, and that cannot be transferred. In patents, it's either that the academic institution would say that you are the sole owner, we don't want anything to do with it, or they could have another arrangement, and that would be to share the profit. So we would share it as 60-40, 50-50. It depends on the policy. If the academic institution provided no support whatsoever, whether to the faculty member or to the student himself, then no rights can be claimed, meaning that you will have the rights overall, whether it is moral rights or pecuniary rights, you will have all the rights over this certain work or invention. When it comes to graduation and senior projects, then who owns the intellectual property? Is it students, or is it the university? The UOB policy, as just a general brief overview, Dr. Amira might actually have some more details about that. But as a general brief, UOB IP policy states that if UOB commissioned the faculty member and student to invent, then yes, UOB would own the invention and the rights in it. Yet the inventor has the right to insert his name as the inventor. So the invention, so the patent certificate would contain your name as the inventor. However, the patent itself and the money that can be made out of this invention would belong to the university. And the policy states that 60% would be to the inventor of the money that comes out of it, and then 30% would be to the college, like the College of Engineering in our scenario, and then 10% would be to the scientific research budget. I think on time, right? I did not exceed my
yes
15 minutes. Okay, perfect. So if you want to have if you want to reach out, if you have any question, I'll be happy to help. These are the contact details for LinkedIn and my email. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hanan, for giving this presentation and engineering twist and example. And thank you also for, in a way or another, introducing Sheikh Amira Al Khalifa and her next very important topic. I would start by introducing Sheikh Amira Al Khalifa, who is a research and teaching assistant at the College of Law. She is also a certified arbitrator and an accredited mediator, in which she obtained accreditation as a mediator from the London School of Mediation in the UK. Sheikh Amira is also joined the project of establishing the BITTC back in 2020 and works on technology transfer matters with the Ministry of Industry and Commerce and the US Embassy. She also successfully completed intensive trainings on the intellectual property and the commercialization of IP from the United States Patents and Trademark Office and the Commercial Law Development Program and Division of the United States Department of Commerce. I would leave the mic for Sheikh Amira to tell us more about the amazing center she is helping in shaping. Sheikh Amira, can you unmute your mic and take over, please?
Of course. Thank you very much, Dr. Nahal. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Dr. Nahal, for organizing this seminar today. And also, it's a pleasure being able to speak with you today regarding the Bahrain Innovation Technology Transfer Center. And before I start, I do want to thank Her Excellency, Dr. Sheikha Haifa bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, for holding such an important series of events, including today's event, which is extremely important to all of us as faculty members and as students at University of Bahrain.
Do you mind, before starting, Sheikh Amira, to please put your presentation into full mode?
Yes.
And meanwhile, I'd like to remind the audience that if you have any questions to Dr. Hanan, you may type them on the chat while listening to this presentation. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Nahal, can you just see the presentation fully as a presenter mode?
I can still see the slides, but I'll wait for Dr. Tamadar to confirm if she can see it differently.
It's the same for me, Doctora.
It's the same for me as well. Okay, maybe you would like to start unsharing and share again as full mode.
All right, what about now?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes, perfect.
Right. As I mentioned, thank you very much for the introduction. Today, I'm going to be covering Bahrain Innovation and Technology Transfer Center. I purposely put here a screenshot of the website for you to be able to access it maybe later on. If you have any further questions, you can always get in contact with me. Today's points of discussion would be an introduction to the BITTC and the process of technology transfer at University of Bahrain and the methodologies we have at University of Bahrain that allows us to transfer technology from University of Bahrain to the industry. Now, as a current gap in the Kingdom of Bahrain, this is a very general goal of University of Bahrain and the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, is the absence of IP policies at universities that focuses on technology transfer. So for us to be able to commercialize IP rights through universities in Bahrain, as well as our Global Innovation Index, which came down a few steps like in the past maybe 3 to 4 years, which we also want to address as a general goal at University of Bahrain. When establishing the center, we did conduct different benchmarks regarding different TTOs. And I must say, like here, when I talk about the Bahrain Innovation Technology Transfer Center, it is the first technology transfer center in the Kingdom of Bahrain. That's why we purposely put the word, or Bahrain, we put it in the title, as well as innovation, for us to attract as much individuals as we can. Now, about the BITTC, our main goal is to identify research initiatives that have the greatest commercial potential, and we would facilitate the commercialization of these IP rights to the industry. So what we encourage faculty members, like for example, all the faculty members would think about, let's say, is publications. So research does not have to stop with publications. You can obtain all these different IP rights, and if there is a part or is there's an option for commercialization, then that would benefit you as a faculty member or a student or the university as a whole. Now, the process of BITTC, you can find it on the website as well. So obviously, the technology transfer process would not start without research. So first, there's going to be research, and the inventor would come to the center to discuss this research. However, the inventor's journey with BITTC would only start by filling out the invention disclosure form. So you can find the invention disclosure form on the website, and then there's going to be like an initial review by a specialist at the center, and then we would conduct the assessment phase. Now, when we talk about the assessment of the IP rights or the invention disclosure form, if we are talking about a patent, because it might not be a patent, it can be just a copyright, if it was a software, for example, or industrial design and so on. So if it is a patent, then there's going to be a patentability research, basically. So we have to conduct a prior art search. We want to see, like, does this patent actually exist? Are there issued patents, published patent applications? Maybe it's published in a scientific journal and so on. Because as Dr. Hanan mentioned earlier, one of the requirements are novelty. So it does have to be new for us to be able to protect it. And the prior art search would be the duty of a law firm we work with at the center. So it would be outsourced, basically. The second part, which is very important of the assessment, is the assessment of marketability. So is there a relevant market for the technology? Can we actually market the technology to the industry, whether the industry we're talking about is in the Kingdom of Bahrain or abroad? After the assessment, we have the protection of IP rights. So if the center or if the BITTC chooses to move forward, then the center would protect these IP rights, and then we would conduct market analysis through tech briefs to be published, and then we can license the technology to the industry. And after licensing, hopefully there would be financial revenues to all of the parties concerned, which I'll talk about in a bit. Now, the question is, how do we license technology from University of Bahrain to the industry? Now, obviously, there are two main methodologies. So we have the IP policy at University of Bahrain, which obviously we do have an IP policy at University of Bahrain. However, this IP policy focuses on the commercialization of IP rights. So it would be basically the methodology for us to be able to transfer the technology. At the same time, we have licensing agreements. The licensing agreements are very extensive. We have two different types. We have a licensing agreement for startups and a licensing agreement for existing firms. So a comprehensive licensing agreement. Now, the licensing agreements, we have drafted them with the Ministry of Industry and Commerce and the Department of Commerce in the United States. Another step we would be taking at the center is for us to identify the IP rights, all from the invention disclosure form. So we would capture, or we would conduct a strategic IP capture, which means once we see the invention disclosure form, we have to see what are the IP rights that we can protect. So for example, if we look, let's say, at an iPhone, there are so many patents that can be filed. So for example, if we talk about the data processing or the operation systems or the user interface, and then we can see, like, for example, regarding copyright. So copyright, we would protect the software, the user manual, the images, ringtone, and so on. And then with regards to design or the industrial design, we can protect, for example, the overall phone, like the design of the phone, the arrangement, the shapes of the buttons, the positions and shape of the screen, and so on. And then also we have trademarks. So for example, the logos, the slogans, let's say Apple, they have a slogan called, they call it Think Different. It's usually on the desktops, but this is a slogan, which is a trademark. Also trade secrets, which are basically technical know-hows that the companies would keep as a secret and maintain it because it is or an economic advantage. So this is a very short slide, basically, on what I just stated earlier. So the IP strategic capture would allow us to identify what IP rights we're talking about. So for example, patent, obviously there's a 20 years protection from the filing date. Trademark is 10 years, but it can be renewed. Copyright as well. And then what concerns, I think, mostly the College of Engineering is industrial design for the most part. So it's 10 years plus 5 years if there's a renewal application, and it can be only renewed once. And then trade secrets. And this is like a very basic example of IP strategic capture. So for example, you would file more than one patent, trademarks, copyright, trade secrets, which you would maintain, trademarks, and so on. Now, the question is, can you destroy your own patents, or can you destroy your own IP rights in general? Now, this is a specific section, even in the invention disclosure form, because we want to make sure that the inventor or the student coming to the center did not really disclose it as a general rule, because novelty is a requirement as a general rule. So again, even industrial design, it has to be new.
أسكر المايك أسكر المايك
All right, so
Sheikh Amira, I just unmuted our third speaker, and you may continue.
thank you, Dr. Nihan. So the question was, can you destroy your own IP rights? So the answer is obviously yes. So the protection has to be to novelty, because it's a requirement in the law, as I mentioned earlier. So when we talk about patents and industrial design, that's extremely important. However, again, this is a general rule. So for example, when we talk about specifically patents, in Bahrain, we have a novelty grace period of 12 months from the date of disclosure. Again, it's a general rule, so there are exceptions, like for example, at if someone disclosed, let's say, their like very detailed information regarding their invention in a conference or so on. But the exception to Bahraini law is the international exhibitions and national exhibitions, and it's based from a convention that is basically supporting this specific exception. And then we have industrial designs. There's no grace period. And in the end, these IP rights are territorial, which means it depends on the territory you're in. So for example, as the BITTC, our goal is very similar to the goal in King Fahd University for Petroleum and Minerals, which we trained at in November of 2021, which is to file first in Bahrain, and then the second country would be the United States, so the United States Patent and Trademark Office. So that's why it's important for us to know, based on the jurisdiction and their national laws. Like for example, in the Kingdom of Bahrain, we have a grace period of 12 months, which is a very positive thing. The United States, Singapore, Canada, South Korea also have the 12-month grace period. Japan used to have 6 months grace period, now they have 12 months. Russia, for example, there's a 6-month grace period only. However, most European states or European countries, there's no grace period. But for example, when we talk about Germany, they have an exception of 6 months for utility patents. Now, regarding the commercialization, which is the final phase of technology transfer, as I stated earlier, now the financial revenues, you can see a provision in the new IP policy, which is going to be published soon, and it should be on the BITTC website. Now, according to the IP policy, if the invention is successfully commercialized by the center, and we always say this to the inventors that would submit forms to the center, because it's very important to know that it takes a very long period of time. It's not something that can be achieved within, let's say, 3 to 4 years. It takes a very, very long time for us to be able to commercialize the technology to the industry. So if it is successfully commercialized, then there would be a percentage for the inventor, or if there's more than one inventor, it would be to the inventors, and it would be divided between them equally, unless they agree otherwise. So it would be agreements separate from the center. And then obviously there's going to be a percentage to the BITTC, and then the Inventors College. And you can find the invention disclosure form on the BITTC website, and this is the icon. You can see it on the website. Now, BITTC's achievements so far, we have a new IP policy that's going to be published very soon. We have the required forms. So we have the invention disclosure form that the inventor starts their journey with the center through that form that is on the website. We've conducted, or we've completed trainings and mentorship with the Commercial Law Development Program, which is a division in the Department of Commerce in the US and the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And then luckily, based on the expertise of CLDP, we were able to complete licensing agreements for University of Bahrain. So we have a comprehensive licensing agreement for existing companies and then one for startups. Then we launched the website and a promotional video. And then we have also guidelines for the center. And then also we have an MOU signed between University of Bahrain and George Mason University. And then we launched the BITTC, which is, it's honestly a success for all of us because it is the first technology transfer center in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And the University of Bahrain were selected by the Ministry of Industry and Commerce. So these are all our collaborations we have with GMU. We had mentoring sessions with a professor from Cornell, King Fahd University for Petroleum and Minerals, where there was an intensive training as well, which was on site. So it was in Al Khabar. Now, here we have like the benchmarks. So one of our goals obviously is to transfer technology to the industry. And this would obviously allow us to participate in one of the very important goals of the government, which is to contribute to becoming a knowledge-based economy, which is based on Vision 2030. These are our benchmarks when we established the center. And our benchmarks are obviously Saudi Arabia. They have very great achievements with regards to patent registrations and IP and technology transfer. And luckily, we had the training with KFUPM. Okay, I think I am on time. So I concluded now my presentation. However, please feel free to go on University of Bahrain's website. You can access the technology transfer process. We included a very detailed process on the center. You can see it on the website. And you can email the center directly. We're not actively monitoring the emails. However, you can always CC me or email me directly. And if it's okay, Dr. Nahal, can I just play a very short video regarding the center for me to conclude my part?
Is it playing from your side?
Yeah, just 1 second.
Okay.
We are the Bahrain.
Sorry, I'm just going to share the screen.
Innovation and Technology Transfer Center, BITTC, at the University of Bahrain, help innovators, creators, and entrepreneurs protect and commercialize their ideas and research. In the Kingdom of Bahrain, great innovations and creations are generated every day. Governments, companies, and others support these important efforts. How do we protect and commercialize innovations, creations, and research? This is Maryam. She has created a brilliant new mobile application that has potential to transform the global fintech landscape. Maryam contacts BITTC to discuss methods of protecting and commercializing her innovative mobile application. Ahmed, a BITTC staff, is here to help. Ahmed's first advice to Maryam is to be discreet about her innovation until BITTC can take steps to ensure publicizing the innovation will not destroy potential intellectual property protections and rights. Maryam fills out BITTC's invention disclosure form to share details about the invention through BITTC's website. Ahmed and the BITTC team then work with Maryam to help her identify all the competitive advantages of her innovative fintech mobile application and prioritize which can have intellectual property protection. Ahmed and the BITTC team also undertake national and international market analysis to determine the commercial potential of the innovation. If Maryam's innovation is approved by the BITTC, we move forward by protecting Maryam's competitive advantages and corresponding intellectual property rights. By obtaining legal protection for the intellectual property, Maryam can safely tell others about her amazing innovation. Obtaining certain intellectual property rights can take some time. BITTC continue to pursue commercial opportunities and finds funding sources to develop a prototype to show potential licensees. The team at BITTC markets the idea to potential licensees and investors. The possibilities of Maryam's idea to generate impact are endless. It could stimulate license, publications, spin-off, more funding, media interest, information to inspire future fintech innovators. According to the IP policy, the innovation is commercialized. The net income of the innovation is distributed between Maryam and BITTC and the other beneficiaries. University of Bahrain's regulations, IP policy, and licensing agreements set the legal framework which allows BITTC to license IP to the industry. When the project becomes successful, the positive impact Maryam has on the world can grow and grow, and BITTC will continue to support her for the rest of the journey. When you come up with the next big idea, contact BITTC. We will help you protect your competitive advantages and obtain legal protection for your intellectual property and license the intellectual property from UOB to the industry. We bring your ideas to life.
Thank you so much, Sada Mira and University of Bahrain BITCC. I think this is a great opportunity for all our faculty as well as students to know that there are potentials and there are a clear policy for the university to protect the intellectual properties of the students and faculty. I would again ask the audience to please write down their questions into the chat box available, or just keep them where we will open the question and answer after our amazing third speaker. Our third speaker is Dr. Abdelghadir Warasma Ghalib. Dr. Abdelghadir is a legal consultant and founder of Abdelghadir Warasma Consultancy. He's also a professor of law at UCB and NYIT, American University in Bahrain, and a World Bank consultant on banking and corporate laws. He's also an International Chamber of Commerce ICC Paris member of the arbitration panel, as well as the International Chamber of Commerce ICC Paris member of banking laws panel. MashaAllah, he has an extensive CV, but I will leave the floor for him to tell us more about him and about the great topic he will share with us today. Dr. Abdelghadir, marhaba. Okay. Dr. Abdelghadir, if you can please unmute your mic now, because we cannot hear you yet. Not yet. Can you try clicking على mic icon as I showed you earlier?
I think it is unmuted, Dr. Nihal, but maybe there's something with the speaker.
Doctor, if you can remove the microphone and headset, maybe it will be okay. Unplug it, Allah يخليك.
Okay now?
Okay now, yes, يعطيك العافية.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay.
Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
And also, alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum. It is my pleasure to be with you. University of Bahrain Engineering faculty, and to speak about engineering and design models. Of course, I will cover this from legal perspective. The other speakers covered this from however, this issue from legal perspective is very important. Now, what we are going to talk about is regarding making design, engineering models, and this is a kind of property. What people are doing is a kind of property. However, this is new in law. In law, what property means, it is either movable property or immovable property. Earlier, we used to know my property, my home, my car, my bank account. However, now, according to the intellectual property rights, we have a right which is different. It is not something that you can touch. It is a new wealth in the mind of everyone. Those people who have been given certain talents and in making intellectual, making new inventions like engineering models, whatever, all kinds of models. This is now in law. We give it also the same right and the same benefit of movable and immovable property. So now what is in the mind of the person now is treated as something material. This is based on the IB law. This is based on the intellectual property law. Now in Bahrain here, for example, rights, as I have said, this is covering the movable property and immovable property. Immovable property, any property you have which you cannot move, attached to the land, or something you attach to this building. Movable property, any other, your mobile, your books, your whatever. Now we have this new wealth in the mind of the people who invent new things, which is now regulated by the intellectual property rights. Go ahead, move on. Another other document. Okay, we have, as I have said, in the civil law in Bahrain, and this is also everywhere in the world, there is definition for proprietary rights, movable property, and immovable property. Now we have something which used to be non-material, but the law gives it value. The law gives it value. Yeah, you go ahead. The second, all real rights over immovable property, including the right of ownership relating to a real right of immovable, are deemed to be immovable property. Go ahead after this document. After this, also this I explained. Now we come here, this Article 25, which is very important in the civil law. Intellectual property rights and other rights in respect of non-material object are regulated by special laws. And we have, in Bahrain, we have about 8 laws regulating all issues that relate to the intellectual property. Intellectual property, this is what anyone is having from his mind. A writer of book, for example, a writer of poetry, a singer, a musician, all those are rights of person, and they are protected by law, provided that they have been registered. We will talk about this. Provided that they have been registered, so they are protected by law. As I have said, in Bahrain, we have many laws regarding intellectual property right, because now here, what I am aiming to say, the design, the engineering objects, all those things could be treated as intellectual property right. And here comes the role of the law. After. No, قبل هذه yes. As I have said in المادة السابقة قالت intellectual property rights are to be defined by law, and we have different laws. We have protection of authors right and attendance right. هذا حقوق الشعراء والكتباء وكل ما تكتبه كل ما يكتبه الإنسان هذا يحدثه. Patents and forms of benefits. الباتنتس هذه whatever someone is having new invention. If you have new design, new engineering design, this is a patent. We have trademarks law. Those also cover any trade, any new trademark. Any new trademark you form is protected by law. We have here, this is what is your main concern here, industrial drawings and model law. There is a special law which caters for the rights of industrial drawings and model law. Also, we have protection of geographical indication law. We have manufacturing and trading encompass disc law. We have design of integrated circuits law. We have trade secrets law, and we have trade names law. You see, all those 9 laws, they deal with intellectual property. They deal with something that relates to a specific person. Provided that this person follow the law, then it will be registered in your name. For example, if you have a trade name for your business and you registered this trade name and it is not used by any other person before you, so it will be your right. No other person can use it. If you have industrial drawing, or if you have design model or whatever, you are the one who, the first one who invented this, and subject to certain conditions, this will be your right, your intellectual property right. And this means it will be your legal right. No other body can use it without you. And this is a kind of encouragement by the law to you engineers, designers, whatever you do, whatever is new, whatever is from your mind, whatever is your own work, you are this, you can protect this, you register this, and it will be of value, monetary value. No other body can use it unless they pay you. Now, for example, this Apple phone, now, based on this model, based on this invention, he is getting millions because he registered. This is his right. No other body can use it without his approval. Yeah, go ahead. I refer here لقانون بشأن الرسوم والنماذج الصناعية لأنه هذا يتعلق, this relates directly to what you are going to be doing in your profession. And the law defines what is the meaning of a model, what is the meaning of the drawing, industrial drawing, what is the meaning, everything. They are saying the law is defining this, and if what you are going to invent comes within this definition, then you can register it and the law will protect you. Go ahead. All this is covering what I have said. In Article 2, they mention what is it, and in Article 3, they mention the exemptions for that. For example, you cannot come and say to me, I have this new model, I have this new design, and it is not acceptable according to the public interest, according to the culture, according to Islamic rules, according to laws in the country. Anything that is contrary to this, even if it is something new, it will not be registered. It will not. It looks like another trademark, international trademark, famous trademark. It will not be registered. So what will be registered is a new invention from you, and this new invention is of benefit to the public, beneficial to the public. If it is of no benefit to the public, it will not be registered. So if you have a new invention, new model, new drawings, new design in your engineering work, in your business, and this is yours, your own work, and it is new, provided that it is new. You are not cut and paste from the work of other people. It is original, it is new from you, and it is beneficial to the society, then it will be registered. Once it is registered, then it will have monetary value, because you can sell, you can give to factories, you can give to people to work on, and all this will give you money, will bring you money. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Doctor, you have 5 minutes on the clock.
After this, Doctora?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay. And also, we have industrial drawings and model law. I spoke about this. Now, I spoke about this industrial drawings and model law. هذا القانون, this law is in Bahrain since 2600, the year 2006. It is an old law. It is a very old law, and it is here, and it gives you the right, if what you have is in line with the law, you can register and you will benefit from that. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let us go through this. The industrial drawing or model, after being registered, so you have to register, shall enjoy the protection determined in this law, and shall be registered under the fulfillment of the following terms. If filed independently, and if it's a novel, it is something new, novelty. It should be something novel. It should be new, not similar to others. New invention. If usable in industry or handcrafts, and if distinctively appears as an industrial or craft work product, distinctively appears. So it is going to benefit, the public will benefit, the country will benefit. So if such things in the industrial drawing or in the mod or in the industrial models you are going to have, it is novel, it is new, it is distinctive from others, this can be registered. You have to go and register. Registration in the Ministry of Industry. There is a special department in the Ministry of Industry for registration of all industrial models and drawings, for all patents. Any patent, new patent you have, اختراع جديد, this is, you go Ministry of Commerce and Industry, they register and they give you a certificate, and they will publish this. They will publish this in the newspapers everywhere, and they will put this in the official gazette. No other body can use this unless you approve that. And you approve that based on money, based on value. So this is what is very important in intellectual property law. Earlier, the people put new inventions, put new things, very beneficial for the community, for the whole world. But the system of registration, the system of keeping this in your name only was not there. And this is a development in the law. And because of the importance of this, the United Nations established special agency. WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. الملكية الفكرية، المنظمة العالمية للملكية الفكرية. It is in Geneva. The head office of this is in Geneva. I have been there many times because I am one of the arbitrators. أنا يعني أحد القضاة في المشاكل المتعلقة بالاي بي على مستوى العالم. هذا ال United Nations Organization هذه WIPO put the law for making any intellectual property something material, like house, like car, like gold. Yes, it comes from the mind, but once you register, then it is of value. It is of monetary value, uncountable monetary value. Now the design of this mobile, Apple mobile, this design, whatever, all designs you see now, Mercedes design, Toyota design, all those registered in the name of the company, registered in the name of the inventor. No other body can use it. And this opens the door for you. يا أبنائي بناتي الطلبة, this opens the door for you as engineers. ما شاء الله, all engineering business is a matter of good mind, invention. There are so many opportunities for invention in design, in engineering, and the law opens the room for you to go ahead, to think, تضغط ذهنك, تنحت ذهنك, to bring something new, like for example this Microsoft, where now the Bill Gates, one who started this, now he is the richest, one of the richest people in the world, because of he used his mind and he utilized his good mind in putting something new for the whole world, and we have all benefited. All the world benefited from his venture, from his
Dr. Abdelkader,
invention.
you have 5 minutes left. You have 5 minutes left.
You can do that. Yeah, okay, go ahead. أعطيني اللي بعدها, المادة اللي بعدها. Go ahead. في law number 1 of the before this here, patents الاختراعات. هذا القانون مهم جدا, لأنه once you have new model, once you have new engineering drawings, this is a patent. This is a patent, and this is a benefit. Patents and terms of benefit. If you have a patent, there are certain benefits for you, certain conditions. Something new, something of benefit, something beneficial to the society. Go ahead. Ayala, Aidan, go ahead. Move on. All this I mentioned in patents. Also, we have law number 5 of 2006 on design of integrated circuits. This is also something special. Integrated circuits, design of this. There is a special law, and this is special law saying whenever there is such thing like this, you have to register. Once you register, you will have the right. Go ahead. Law, trademarks law. This is, I tell you, this is the same law in all GCC countries. Same law in GCC countries. So you have a trademark. You invented something new, then it will be your property. For example, the logo. the logo of the Mercedes car or the logo of the Toyota or whatever. The one who invented this, okay, this registered as the trade name, registered as the trademark and trade name. No other body can use it. No other body can use it. But now, if you can see, for example, the Korean cars, almost they are doing something very similar to the Mercedes car. In some of them, this is how I see. Okay, but there are differences. If it is the same 100%, it will not be allowed by law. But they are very smart. They do something for the people to think that this is like Mercedes. It is something different. This is the trademark law, which protects everything that you own, your property, and it should be your property, no other body to use without your approval and without giving you compensation or money for that. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Trade names, the same rule. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. WIPO. I have spoken about WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. This is one of the most organizations of the United Nations. And this organization is the mother and father of the intellectual property. And we have the law for intellectual property rights. We have the rules. We have the policies. What is the meaning of intellectual property? How to benefit from intellectual property? How to register the intellectual property? How to keep others away? How to give to others? All this is regulated by WIPO rules, and every day we are going ahead. We are going ahead. What is WIPO behind is this is a kind of protection for your is smart. You invent anything, you will be protected. No other people can use it, provided you have benefit from that. So WIPO makes intellectual property something material of money. In your work, engineering, designing, all those things, all those new inventions, all those new patents, you have the right to benefit from that. There is no limit for your mind. The human mind is limitless, But the difference between the inventors and the non-inventors, the inventors use the limits. They know how to use the limits of their minds, while others, they don't know. They don't think that they have something in their mind. No. The human being, as mentioned in the Quran, فضلنا الإنسان. الله فضل الإنسان على الملائكة وأعطاه الذهن الكبير اللي يستفيد منه. وهذا this is the the core of the IB laws. This is the core of the intellectual property rights. And this is an encouragement for any one of you. This is an encouragement for any one of you to think. You have so many dreams of many things. You have so many thoughts of so many things. But the dream, the thoughts, what is just comes across your mind of no value unless you put it down. Unless you put it down, you sit down and you try to make your dreams in real life. You make your dreams in real life. Think about so many things. For example, now during this earthquake, yeah, I refer to the minds of the Japanese engineers. I was in Japan, there was an earthquake, I was in the hotel, and the building was moving forward, backward, without falling down. The Japanese engineers, those people, very intelligent, they make new ways of building, making the foundation for the building in a way that it never falls. It absorbs the earthquake. Unfortunately, we don't have this in Turkey. We don't have this in Syria. This is why we have thousands and thousands every day. They are dying. And this is what makes the difference between people. Those people there in Japan, they said we cannot all die because of earthquake every day. We have to find something. And they have invented new way. Maybe you are in architecture, you know this better than me. But this is just an example. Every mind is having unlimited power, unlimited scope of thinking. Just use this, try to benefit from it. Whatever that comes to your mind, try to put it in action, make it real, and go and register this. Go and register this. It will be in your name forever, and you will benefit from that. You will benefit, and also your family will benefit, and your grandsons and your grandsons will benefit forever. This is my advice to you. You have the mind, you have the capability, you have the interest, but you have to put it in action and to benefit from that. And the law protects you. The law will keep this for your benefit. No other body to touch unless you have money from that, unless you approve that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Abdelkader, for these amazing words and encouraging words. And I think the advice we want to take forward from this is unleash the limits of a human mind. Definitely our students as well as faculty benefited a lot from the three great speakers and yours as well. So we would like now to open the floor for questions and answers from the chat as well as the raise hand options if you have any questions for our speakers today. Any questions so far? I can perhaps get the benefit of asking the first question to Dr. Abdelkader. Briefly, how much does it cost?
Most welcome, my students. Anyone, you have my my email there,
details,
my
yes.
telephone there. Anyone having anything, I can help freely. I can help you in going ahead. I can help you in going ahead, and we look forward for you. You are our future. You are the future of Bahrain. You are the future of humankind, and it is our duty to help you to go forward.
Thank you so much. I think we have a raised hand from Mr. Hamza. Ustad Hamza, you can open your mic and ask.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Good afternoon. First of things, I'm outside of the university, but I am expert in IP. I would like to thank you for this lecture or for this meeting. We are very happy and we learn too much from you. I just want to share some examples because I'm working in registration of patents and industrial designs. We have many patents have been registered by students of university. We have two cases in Jordan. One case for students. They have their projects was for patents and they register it. And as per the doctor said, they have good income and some of them established a company. So I also advise for all of the students to continue of the registration or of their projects. And the good news that we was before 2 days meeting with Tamkeen, so they will start thinking to support this project. This project, if it's patents or industrial design, just under one condition, that to continue this business, and you don't make the project and stop. We can say don't make it to just only for graduation. Put it as in your mind to continue with this project. If Tamkeen, they will make fund. So this is good news, and I hope for the students all the wish. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ustad Hamza from Talal Abu Ghazala Consultancy. We have now another question from Dr. Tamadar. Dr. Tamadar, the mic is yours. Thank you so much, Mr. Hamza.
Thank you, Dr. Nihal ومشكورين. Thank you for the speakers. It was a very beneficial session. I wanted to ask about the
Doctor, can you repeat that? I had a cut off. Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, it keep muting itself. Yes, so I have a question for the BITTC. Sheikh Munira, I don't know, maybe you mentioned it, but forgive me if I'm asking something. I wanted to ask if there is, if the alumni students, if the graduates can actually benefit from the BITTC, like is it only offering services for the current students or also the students who are graduated? This is first question. The second question is, let's say if a student's created a design within a specific course, and then it just didn't get through, or they applied it, or anyways, like they did it already and they finished the course, and they want they graduated again, so they graduated, sorry, and then they want to kind of like go back to it and register it or have a copyright for it. Does the university have a right to this particular product, or is it now belonging to the students themselves? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tamadar, for the two questions. So to answer your first question with regards to alumni from University of Bahrain. So currently the Technology Transfer Center is just in the pilot phase. We're just in the beginning. And we only support faculty members at University of Bahrain and students. So all the invention disclosure forms we recently received are from faculty members. We haven't received any from students so far. And we obviously just serve currently the faculty members and students at University of Bahrain, and not alumni. However, the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, this project is still under the ministry. And the main goal of the ministry is to have this center basically for the Kingdom of Bahrain. So it's not just for University of Bahrain on the long run, but as I mentioned, currently just University of Bahrain and current faculty members and current students. However, after the pilot phase, hopefully we can support everyone in Bahrain. For the second questions with regard to if they finished a project. So how would we actually apply the policy? Basically is, have they used substantial resources from the university? Like, for example, they came up with this idea, they came up with this project based on a subject at University of Bahrain, based on the substantial use of resources at University of Bahrain, based on the supervision of the faculty members. So that would fall within University of Bahrain's ownership as an academic institution. So basically the criteria is stipulated in the IP policy, and that would apply. So the question is, how did they create it? Did they use substantial resources? Did they use the faculty's advice and so on? And then the IP policy would apply and the ownership would be to the University of Bahrain. And as Dr. Hanan mentioned earlier, they would be listed as an inventor as their rights they enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Hamira. I think I also have another question for Dr. Hanan. To register something like a product or an idea, does it have to be fully finalized? Yani, if I have only like the drawings or the design of the product, but not the product itself, would that still be? Would I still be able to register it?
Okay, thank you, Doctora, for the question. When it comes to ideas, you can't register the idea, obviously. You can register the expression of the idea, and the expression of the idea can take the form of either being in writing, that is literary work, or it can be in the form of sketches. So if it is under copyright, there is no need for registration. However, if we're talking about design, then the law requires that, okay, it can be a sketch. However, with regard to the formal requirement, it has to have the industrial applicability. So yes, it would have to be in the final stages where you can show the product as it's in the final form, or you can still be working on it towards having the final product. But at the end of the day, when you want to submit a form for patentability, then you will need to decide what exactly you are trying to patent. Is it the whole invention? Is it the product itself? Is it the process? So you will have to make sure that, yes, you can present it to the examiner. So when the examiner is following the steps, they will reach to the same result without falling into any mistake during the process. Is that what you've asked?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay.
I think I'm bouncing back to Sheikh Amnira then, but based on your answers. So let's say, for example, me as a faculty have a design, and I would like to have a patent for it, and I want to go to the BITTC to process the work. So since you mentioned that the process takes long time, can I actually start the process and then also start prototyping the piece before while the process is being done? And then prototyping the piece needs, for example, financing. So with the sponsorship. So would the BITTC also help in that? Thank you.
Dr. Munira would answer that, but yes, once Dr. Munira answers that, I need to go back and say just a small comment regarding presentations. Anyway, Dr. Munira, if you can answer that, and then I can go back.
Thank you.
So Dr. Tamadar, regarding the question, the invention disclosure form goes through two different phases. So the first phase is the initial disclosure form. So the initial form would be filled out by the inventor, and they would send it to us via email. Now, the second step is for us to meet with the inventor. We want to see, is it just an idea? They didn't really execute anything. If that's the case, we can't move forward. So it has to be like, for example, not just pure research. They have to have like some sort of execution of it. Now, let's say, for example, they executed it, but they need to prototype it, just prototype. The fees of prototyping it would be covered by the BITTC. So we have, because again, we are working with the Ministry of Industry and Commerce. So we're working with even an expert from the ministry. They come like with me, like regarding meetings and policies, they're all involved. So what would happen is we would have them involved in the process, and even the support would be from the BITTC itself. So the prototype, the legal fees, the lawyers drafting the patent application, everything would be covered by the BITTC. Thank you, Dr. Tamadar, for your question.
Thank you, Sheikh Amnira.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay, can I add one more thing to that? There is an issue when it comes to our law and how things are being actually done when it comes to the requirements and registration. So the law, when there's a requirement of novelty, it means that it has not been registered before, plus it has not been disclosed before. And when we say disclosure, it means disclosed to the public. The public is defined as anyone who is not obliged by law to keep the secret. So if it is someone who you're working with, then they're not considered public. If it's someone in your team, that's not a public. But if it's someone beyond the scope of that, then yes, they are public. Now, what happens in the senior projects in the College of Engineering and IT and so on, they disclose their work through their exhibition. You do have a senior project exhibition yearly, annually. That's correct. That would be actually, that would probably affect the question of novelty, because you by laws of the university or the regulations of the university, you would have to disclose it in the exhibition, and then if you want to move forward from there, if someone else is attending and the crowd is attending the invention exhibition, or sorry, the seminar exhibition or the last year exhibition, then that would be disclosure to the public, which could have an effect on the novelty requirement later on. So the way out of this would be for the university to argue their way with the Ministry of Industry and Commerce in order for them to amend the regulations and state something that would exempt students from that particular requirement. This is because the regulation itself provides for two exemptions. If the first one, the law actually, not the regulation, the law says if the invention was disclosed without your consent, you have 12 months in order for you to resubmit and submit your work and file for the application. The second exemption, or the second case, is your participation in the scientific exhibitions. And the scientific exhibitions are those that are less listed in the regulation, not any exhibition. So we try to, or maybe Dr. Mira can also work on that because she's in close contact with them at the moment. We should have an exception in the regulation that would allow our students who present their work in the exhibition to be able to file and not have an effect on the requirement of novelty. That's just a comment that I've always actually, I always tell my students, and I've been consulted by a couple of, actually so many times the engineering students in particular, they contact me regarding inventions or senior project that they were working on, and then they're trying to take it to a next step. But there is always that kind of hurdle or problem when it comes to registration as well.
Inshallah, we'll get to solve this. And
that makes sense.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hanan and Dr. Tamada, for the question. I don't know if Dr. Abdul Qadir wants to add to this point, or we leave it to Mira to take it further to the ministry. Yes, Doctor. Unmute your mic, please, Doctor, so that we can hear you. Doctor, if you can unplug your, remove the headset so we can hear you, because unplug it, the wire as well. We can't hear you. Still, we can't hear you. Yes, now can you talk? Not yet. Oh, I can't hear Dr. Abdul Qadir. He left the meeting. Perhaps he'll try to join in a minute.
Okay, may I just add like a practical
Yes,
example?
yes.
So I'll give an example regarding a faculty member at University of Bahrain. So we had in the department, I think they're called the public health at University of Bahrain. So he contacted us a while ago, and he wanted to publish his research in an academic or a scientific journal. However, he knew that there is a formula that he should not disclose. So if he didn't know of the BITTC, he would have disclosed it because he didn't really have the intention of filing a patent. He didn't know that he had this option at University of Bahrain now. He actually wanted to publish this article. However, he was very smart enough to remove every information that is kind of inventive. So any inventive step he removed, and also regarding the formula, he didn't really disclose it. So when he came in, he had like a hardware and a software, like a device. It was very, very interesting, and it's based on a scientific research in Bahrain. And he actually moved forward, like he did not publish anything. He didn't submit even a manuscript. And instead, he is doing like further research for him to be able to protect it at University of Bahrain. So from that point on, we actually recommended, and this is something that is kind of like a project, it's still not launched yet or anything, but having like a sector or like an office at the Deanship of Scientific Research at University of Bahrain, that would, like an academic journal, for example, instead of submitting a manuscript directly, they would, let's say, submit it to this office. They would go over it. They would see like if there is maybe a patent that can be filed based on this research before actually submitting it to the journal. So that was just something practical we went through a while ago.
Thank you so much. Yes, I think that helps explain many things. And I think the amazing examples you've already mentioned, Dr. Hanan, and yourself, I think, and how we can relate to it from our projects and products can definitely help both faculty and students. while waiting for the disclosure thing to be resolved before we exhibit, inshallah, next semester. Hopefully we can file some applications. Any other questions from our dear audience, students, faculties, or guests to our speakers? I think Dr. Abdelkader is joining us here as well. Any questions? Dr. Abdelkader? If you can unmute your mic, you're here, but we still can't hear you. Just press on the mic icon. Still we can't hear you. Not yet. لا الصوت, there is no voice heard. I'm not sure what is the technical issue here. Can we know a little bit about filing? We can hear you now, Dr. I don't know what you pressed, but I think, Dr. Nothing? You can't hear anything. في صوت بس خفيف. Anyway, so I think in that regard, I will have to end this meeting. Thank you so much for all your amazing words and information. I have posted a link in the chat, a form that we wish all our audience to fill so that we can take this event further, whether it's a workshop at the BITCC or a free consultation from both Dr. Abdelkader and Dr. Hanan if needed. Perhaps we organize something better or file something more, inshallah, in the future. Thank you so much all for attending this session. Now close this recording, and if you would like to have the recording, please contact us and fill the form so I can give you the link to download. Thank you so much, our great speakers, Dr. Abdelkader, Dr. Hanan, and Dr. Mirat, inshallah. See you, inshallah, in future events.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Bye-bye.
Bye.